Hi everyone, I want to present to you a web application in a browser page for searching and analyzing profitable craft clusters. What does it do? It checks so you set a cluster base, a large or medium cluster with a specific base. It checks all combinations on trade. There are 165 combinations in total. For example, I chose the lightning damage cluster, a large cluster. It outputs prices for everything it checked. Next, there's a player check function that analyzes the number of players, checking which ones use these mods. This is to avoid expensive clusters that nobody uses, which you might craft but then be unable to sell. There's also a simple craft check function that just tells you in chaos how many chaos or Alts+augs+ you'll spend on crafting a specific combination. Alternatively, for a more in-depth analysis, there's an export for the simulator. But let's go through everything in order. Right now, it's checking each combination. What does that mean? For each combination, we have the lightning damage base on 8 passives. For large clusters, we check for 8 passives on trade. For medium clusters, we check for 4 to 5 passives. So this particular combination is with 8 passives. Here's the check of all combinations. We have prefixes, prefix nodes, and suffixes. This combination is apartments. The next to prefix is with this suffix, with this suffix, with this suffix. And as he said at the beginning, we have 165 such combinations on this lightning damage base. It checks them in about plus or minus 10 seconds. 10 to 11 seconds. Why is that? Because trade has certain limits. If we check too often, our IP address will simply get banned. The application doesn't use your IP. It has its own hosting IP. And to ensure that when many users are checking, there are no trade limitations. For each user and each trade check task, a separate proxy is allocated. So you can see the check is running. Right now, I can freely search for anything on trade myself without breaking trade limits. While we wait for 165 combinations, plus or minus 10 seconds each, that's 1650 seconds, about 30 minutes this will take. In automatic mode, the check of all 165 combinations is complete. Everything has been entered into a table at the top. A link to the trade for the base has appeared. We can follow it. Base parameters, large cluster, 8 passives, lightning damage base, item level 75 to 83, must not be corrupted. For medium clusters, it would be 4 to 5 passives. We can sort by price and filter. For example, I'll take many close to 500. One costs 500. Let's try taking 500. Apply. Now for each of these combinations, we check the number of players using these passives. The player check is complete. So, here we see an expensive combination, very, but only the players use it. Nobody needs it, nobody will buy it for that amount. So let's sort, filter players, set it to more than 10 players. There are some combinations with no price, meaning someone just bought them out, but they are used by players, as we can see. So it will be possible to sell for some amount of chaos or divines. Now let's look at the simple craft check function. It will tell us how much each combination costs to craft in Chaos or Alts+augs+regals+exalts, and also show information about how many Chaos it would take to randomly craft one of these 20 combinations. The check is complete. The application gave the cost of a no-random craft from these combinations for 190 to divines, sale price from 746, but this is 3 divines. Three divines seems, at first glance, like a good potential profit margin. And this is in Chaos, meaning you can use Alts+augs+regals+exalts, which will be even cheaper. Now for a simple check, let's go through this combination. Prismatic quite a spread costs 288 chaos, this is 10 divines. It calculates, 1 divine is 148 and 20 for results, 10 divines 20 for results, price is about the same. For players, we look at point and maybe meaning Po Ninja. We select rangeable likely meaning large cluster, base lightning damage, and add 3 passives. A tinfoil spread likely prismatic heart, prismatic carapace, shocking. Wait, a tinfoil isn't clear, but we got to 177 players, which it brought up here. Craft cost, 2,699 divines for the craft. They added passives, shocking, prismatic, spread. It showed 2,699 divines. So that's the source of all this information, collected mathematically. Why is our ILVL 75 to 83, and ILVL 75, the passives appear, if we set 84, for example, the price would change drastically in a negative direction. That was an approximate craft cost estimation. We can go to the simulator and get a more accurate cost estimate. For example, let's take the option, Chaos, Harvest, Fossils, or Alts+augs+regals+. Let's see Alts+augs+regals+, how much will the craft cost? Generate the dataset, so to speak, copy the buffer, go to the Craft of Exile simulator, paste what we copied, here's what was generated. And here are all our 20 combinations. Roll with Alts, then Augs, add the second mod, and Regal to the third mod. Let's see how many items. So, how much does it cost to craft with this method? It gave us thousands of alts to craft one cluster. Any one of these clusters, priced from 3 divines. We can add exalts and generate. So Alts+augs+regals+, if you don't hit the third mod with Regal, and you have an open prefix, you can slam an exalt and see how the craft cost changes with exalts. start the same. All 20 of our combinations. Then, in case of success, we hit the 3 mods we need, we stop. If not, we go to the next step. Slam and exalt, check for an open prefix. If there is, we slam and exalt. Now our 1,000 alts turned into 500, so the time's less, but 9 exalts are needed. The choice is yours. Do you want to use 500 alts and 9 exalts or not? But you must consider that the crafting speed will be twice as fast if you use half the alts. Let's look at chaos. What if we roll just with chaos orbs in the simulator? Just chaos on the 20 combinations. A simple template should show something around this number now. We're done. With a margin of error around 500 chaos. 500 chaos. Since this is the lightning damage base, we can try to tweak it. Reforge lightning and see what the craft price would be in that case. What did it give? 1368 Reforge Lightning. 1 Reforge costs maybe 50 Blue Life Force, 18,000 Blue Life Force. Or maybe Purple Life Force, I don't remember exactly. Anyway, check how much Divine to Light Force is and analyze if it's profitable or not. But it's probably profitable. If 1 Divine is 9,000 Life Force, here it's the Divines for the craft. And here the minimum price is 3 Divines and above. It turns out profitable. Now, before considering the last function, I'll ask the Moralists and Rule Enforcers to finish watching the video. You've all seen what you need. That's enough. There is one more function. The Export or Advanced Stage Helper or Crafter Helper. Auto-Crafter 4. Well, we can immediately create a small template for the program. Crafting method. Choose Harvest, or Alts plus Scours, or Alts+augs+regals with exalts or without exalts, as you wish. Create a template. And there are hints on where to put this template to open it in the program. Download the file, click Download File, open it, and craft in a couple of clicks. You can ignore this warning. You can check the mod order. Yes, it's correct. So, that's pretty much it. I've explained the entire functionality. This is the project that turned out, which saves a lot of time. Time is money. Thanks for watching. Good luck crafting clusters. Bye.